New, 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 new.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
The code is particles.
Yeah, why is that?
Because we got a massive influx of particles, not neutrons
Billions
or
and
electrons. Well, I guess
billions
there's
and
electrons
billions
inside.
of particles.
Particles, bits of data.
All right, so we got. Well, I guess we'll just first start out and say like there's three.
There's
Argon.
3, but I'll tell you the Xenon is actually coming soon. But I'll explain what we got.
All right, so what do we got?
So
coming?
we got actually ordered a bunch of stuff from Particle. People who signed up for their crowdfunding campaign for these new feather-compatible boards from
I was
Particle.
going to say, this looks familiar. What is this? Oh,
They're
that's
feathers,
right.
they're feathers.
We chatted with Particle. They chatted with us. They're like, hey, that feather format is great. Here, a lot of people are using it. We're like, yeah. Do you want to use it? And they're like, yeah. And
And it's
they
like,
said,
yeah,
so
it was
they said,
that
okay.
easy. Is that we didn't even have lawyers involved.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
Yeah.
And so we're starting to stock their kits. So here's what we got. There's 3 particles that they've made. There's the Xenon, the Argon, and the Boron.
Yeah, so
Let's start with the Argon. So the Argon is a feather format. You can see it has battery charging, it has USB. The chip inside is an NRF52840. It's a Cortex M4 running at like 64 megahertz. I think it has a megabyte of flash, maybe 256K of RAM or something like that. It's a NRF52840, so it's a Bluetooth Low Energy Cortex M4. It's got a lot of peripherals, PWM, analog digital conversion, I2S, all that good stuff. It doesn't have Wi-Fi, so on the Argon, what they did is they added an ESP32 to it as a Wi-Fi coprocessor. So when you're using it with the Particle Mesh Network, their online cloud service, you can connect to the internet using Wi-Fi, and also you get that Bluetooth Low Energy, which you can use to connect to mobile devices or to create a mesh network. The NR52840 has Bluetooth Low Energy mesh support.
Okay.
So we have a kit. So again, the Argon is an NR52840 with an ESP32 Wi-Fi chip, and we have the kit. It comes with a breadboard, USB cable, 2 resistors, LED light sensor, and a Wi-Fi antenna. The Bluetooth has an antenna built in.
What's the next one?
The next one is the Particle Boron LTE. Likewise, it has a NRF52840. It's feather format, feather size. We really, the bottom is like quite a journey there. This is a pretty big build. It's got an LTE modem. You can, looks like you can add a SIM card, and in the US you can use the Particle mobile network with LTE. If you don't have LTE coverage in your area, you might want to wait. They'll come out with another one that I think does maybe 3G or 2G. I'm not sure exactly. Check their documents. But if you are in LTE area, this is really great. LTE is a kind of an IoT-based cellular network. You don't need the super high speeds. You can get pretty high speeds, but it's more about low power, low cost. This is a very well-priced board. It's also an NRF52840, and you get cellular, but you don't get Wi-Fi. So you have a choice. If you want Wi-Fi, get the Argon.
Okay.
If you want Bluetooth mesh plus cellular, get the Boron.
All right, what if I want something else?
Okay. The third option, which is coming soon, we actually didn't get these kits in. They're coming soon because I think it's the most popular, so they have to make a lot, is the Xenon. This is low cost. It's got a flat bottom because all it is the NRF52840 Bluetooth chipset with mesh. No Wi-Fi, no cellular, but you get BLE, and of course you get USB, and then of course you can combine these all together to make mesh networks that tunnel data over cellular, so you can have 10 Bluetooth Low Energy devices in a mesh using the low-cost Xenon, and they use the Argon or the Boron to tunnel that data to the Particle cloud over cellular or Wi-Fi. So these are kind of meant to go together. And then you can sign up if you want the Xenon pack. Again, the Xenon pack is not in stock yet, but we did take photos, so you know what you will get when it comes
All right,
in
but there's
stock.
more.
Okay. We also have a programmer. You may not need this, if it depends on the kind of usage you're expecting. This is a SWD DAP programmer. It's kind of the standard embed SimSys DAP programmer. Comes with a cable. You plug into USB. And then all of the particles, I'll show you some of the overhead. All the particles have a little, it's kind of hard to see because it's teeny. These are the 3 boards. But there is a 2x5 standard SWD connector. You can plug it in. You also have the headers soldered in, and you get, if you look carefully, you can see there's a UR and SWD and SW clock. So handy if you need a debugger or programmer. You can use this to replace the bootloader. We do have a UF2 bootloader for those people who are like really advanced and want to try that. It kind of takes you in a different direction than the particle cloud, so we don't recommend doing that unless you really know what you're doing. But if you do somehow brick your board, or you want to do step debugging, or you want to switch the bootloader, you want to raw program the NR52840, this SimSys app will work with any operating system and OpenOCD. I think it even has the drag and drop embed thing where you can drag and drop a hex file and program it, which is just wonderful. Great for programming your boards. If you have a J-Link, you could also use that. You don't need to use this, it's just a low-cost SimSys app, but a J-Link will work quite well, and we sell J-Links, and those will work with anything as well.
All right, and we still have some more things from Particle.
Okay, so in addition, you might be like, hey, this looks a lot like, like an Adafruit tripler for the FeatherWings, but then they also took the Ethernet wing, and we're like, yeah, they wanted to have a drop-in, easy-to-use way to add Ethernet when you could also plug in other stuff. So I'll show this on the overhead. For example, you can plug in your Argon, so you have Wi-Fi, this has Ethernet already, and then you're like, okay, I want to add maybe a 7-segment display, so you can plug in the FeatherWing, and now you have an Ethernet with a display, maybe showing you some error codes or something. Or maybe you're like, hey, I want even more data. I want an OLED. You can use one of our FeatherWing OLEDs and plug it in, and now you've got some buttons and an OLED display for your Feather. So this is kind of the nice thing about the Feather system is you can plug and play a bunch of stuff as long as you don't have any pin collisions, which I don't think you will, especially if you're using I2C. That's why I recommend using I2C as much as possible, because you don't have to worry about running out of pins. And then this uses the WIZnet chipset. It's very similar to the Ethernet FeatherWing we have, but it has the pins pre-connected. And while I haven't tested it, you should be able to use this as well with other Feathers. But it is designed for Particle, and the Particle Cloud knows about this FeatherWing. So when you use the Particle Cloud, if you click the Ethernet button when you use it, it will be smart and be like, okay, we're going to use Ethernet instead of Wi-Fi or cellular for your transport.
And the last thing from Particle this week.
Okay. So you're like, wow, this is really cool, but I want one of everything.
How about all?
This is one of everything. So this is the pack that gets you one of everything. Well, kind of. You get 2 Xenons, so that's the Bluetooth low energy mesh only boards. You don't get cellular or Wi-Fi, and you get 1 Argon, which is the Wi-Fi plus Bluetooth low energy board. So you can make a 3-board mesh network, tunneling data over to Wi-Fi. 2 boards are Bluetooth low energy mesh. You get a debugger, and you get a tripler if you want to go to town and add some FeatherWings. And you get 3 breadboards and USB cables, so you can have them all running at once. And then the Particle Cloud service, you get a couple months free. I don't want to quote anything because I don't have it in front of me. I think it's 3 months of free service, and up to with cellular, and then up to 10 devices free for prototyping. And then if you want to build a larger mesh network, or you want to use the cellular network for longer, you pay probably by the megabyte or by the month.
Okay, so that's all the Particle stuff, and we do have one last product. I was looking for this for a while. This is Johnny Five's head. Yeah. We wanted to get LiDARs in the store, so we finally have them.
Yes, this is. Sorry, this is completely covered in particles.
It's not Johnny Five's head.
It's not Johnny Five's. It's a Garmin LiDAR. So we actually have another LiDAR in the story. This is a LIDAR-Lite. This is a single point LiDAR. So it's good for just measuring a distance. It can do, I think, up to 4 meters. It's from Garmin. They're excellent quality. You can do up to, oh wait, this is rotated, so let me just flip this around. This is the LiDAR. It's a true LiDAR. It is actually a laser output. That's something to watch for. A lot of people are like, wow, this is pretty expensive. How come I can get a LiDAR for $20? And it's like, well, what you're buying for $20 is not actually a LiDAR. A lot of companies put the word LiDAR in the name of their products.
Flies.
And it's not. It's not a true. It's like a time of flight, or it's infrared. It's not a true LiDAR. This is actual. There's a laser. There's lasers involved here, attached to sharks. No, it's attached to this lensing system, and this one is measuring, the ceiling, which is about 3 meters up. But I can put my hand over it, and it's just updating over OLED on this Feather. Feather is the theme, and it does it over I2C. You can get up to 500 hertz depending on how you set it up. For the high precision mode, I think it's about 100 or 150 hertz. This one isn't spinning around. You can spin it around if you'd like, but we have another LiDAR that is a spinny LiDAR that will give you, you know, like a SLAM type map. These are often seen in autonomous robots or distance sensors where you want very long range but very high precision or accuracy at the same time. So this is from Garmin. You may know them for their GPS sensors. They also do an excellent job with their LiDAR sensors.
Okay. And with that, Lady Ada.